What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And for those of you who haven't been here before, this is my 2001 Chevy Astro van that I'm building out into a camper. And the purpose of today's video is showing you how to build this drawer right here. So I'm going to show you everything there is to know about the drawer and how to build it. So I'll give you step-by-step instructions and we'll figure this out together, since this is one of my first drawers I've done in quite a while. I've done some before, but not one this big. So it's kind of an adventure for both of us. I'll figure out all the problems and then I'll tell you how to do it right. So stay tuned and see this drawer get built. All right, so here are the drawer slides that I've got for this build. These things cost me like $180, I think, but they had really good reviews on Amazon from what I read. They're locking, and they're 4 feet long, just like I wanted. So they're supposed to be heavy duty, like 200, 300 pounds. I can't remember which. Maybe it was 250. But they're exactly what I was looking for. I wanted my van to be nice, so 180 bucks for drawer slides. Sucks, but it'll be quality, right? Hopefully, cross my fingers. I'm gonna provide a link in the description on that for the Amazon in case you want to copy me and get the same ones. Or I know there are some more on Amazon that are like 120, but a lot of the reviews said the locking mechanism would break. You want the locking mechanism because, I mean, just think about it. If you're going on a dirt road or even just on a normal road and you hit a pothole, that thing is going to bounce, and you don't want it sliding out and hitting the whatever the heck you call this, the back door. You don't want it to hit the back door. So get locking ones that hopefully are decent if you're going to do this, because yeah, imagine if that comes out and freaking breaks something. I don't know. Just word of advice. The whole goal of this video is for me to kind of show you how to build the drawer and the drawer slides and everything. So I'm going to go through a step-by-step process and kind of show you my process of doing it, and hopefully you can transfer it to your own build. Yeah, look at my build maybe and say this is crap and do your own, but this is what I'm going to do. Maybe you can learn something, maybe you can't. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to do it. Alright, so the first step I've already done, and that was install the drawer slides into the framing, which at this point you probably already should have framing. Pretty self-explanatory, right? So this is meant to be after you framed. First step, install your drawer slides. That's step one. You always want to start with the drawer slides. That way you can come back right now and measure in between. A whole lot easier than if you were to measure the framing and then try to subtract for the slides and then figure it all out. It gets messy. Trust me from experience. I've done this before. It freaking sucks when you get it wrong. So this is the easiest way to get it right the first time, especially when you can just, it's nicer. Trust me, it's nicer. So yeah, first step, get your drawer slides installed. And then after that, you want to come back and be able to measure. And I've got about, I'm going to make it 15 1/4. That's how wide my drawer is going to be. Something I should mention for you to do is have an idea of how you're going to build the storage part before you start getting into this too far. Step one, I say put your drawer slides in. Step two, figure out how you're going to frame this. You can see my method, decide if you like it, copy it. If not, do your own. I mean, I'm trying to save a little bit of money, so I use a little bit cheaper wood. Maybe you can just use all plywood if you have nicer tools and whatnot, but that's up to you. This is what I'm going to do here in a second. You'll see, and you can decide if you want to do it. But step one, install drawer slides. Step two, figure out your plan. Step three, start measuring. I'll kind of do step two in a minute, and then you're kind of seeing step three right now because I'm measuring this out, 15 1/4. I already know I need to go about 4 feet long, 48 inches. And so I'm going to show you my framing process right now. Alright, so here's the base piece I have. And you can see it's a little bit warped. Freaking wood sucks. But, yeah, you can see the gaps I have on both sides. Looks giant to me, just from my crooked eye, I guess. But that wood is what I'm going to use for the sides of this, and it's half an inch on each side, which will make an inch total. And believe it or not, but that's an inch. So that gap should be pretty close to being filled, once this is all built. So, yeah, it'll be solid. My next step, though, I'm going to cut out the sides, the side plywood, and I'm just trying to use as little amount of wood as I can. That way it's as light as possible and I can fit more gear in there, hopefully. Now comes the real challenge, making sure this actually fits. Oh yeah, that fits in there perfect. I'll show you. There's where it screws into. Both sides, that's like pretty much perfect. So, sweet. Now, I'll cut this front piece, I'll cut the back piece, and then I'll get the bottom piece put on. And for the bottom piece, I'm going to use this wood right here. I'll put this on the inside, on the bottom, and then this will face down. And this stuff is super slippery. I'm not sure what it's called. I actually just had it laying in the garage. Wasn't planning on using it. And I figured, why not? It's 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's super, super light. And this side is super slippery, so I'll use that slide on the bottom. And hopefully it works good. Oh yeah. Alright, I kind of want to catch you up to speed with what I'm doing here. So, I mean, clearly, as you can see, I got the sides on and the basic frame. So, my next step is what I wanted to do is I just cut these pieces. They'll go like this, and this will sit on top right here. And I'll get another one here. Kind of like that. Just so I have a frame for the front, and I'll get these pieces of plywood, and they'll go on right here. And that'll just make it so it'll have a nice sturdy way to screw all this together. When I'm pulling it in and out, bumping on dirt roads, I just want it. That's how I'm going to frame this, to be as light as possible, but as sturdy as possible. I'll do that for the front and for the back. And then after I get those pieces on, I'll put on the underside, this piece that I got up here. So just so you know, that's kind of what I got. And like always, make sure you use a square. I got mine right here. And I don't know how well it's going to work with this, but definitely going to try. I got those two side pieces on, and I actually cut this piece to be the same width as this bottom length. That way, when I put it in, it'll automatically square it up. I was still checking it with this square just to kind of see where I was, but now when I put this in, it's going to perfectly square it. Perfect frame, ready to fit this perfectly. It's all squared up. The edges are all pretty freaking smooth. I'll sand it anyways, but yeah, the edges are pretty smooth. that is looking pretty fantastic. It's all pretty sturdy and level and everything. Squared. That's important. Now I'm ready to put this bottom piece in. But yeah, it's pretty light and looking good. Once I get this bottom piece in, I'm going to take it and sand all this. And then I'll put it in there. Oh yeah. Alright, giving you a closer look at this while it's in. You can see I have pretty minimal wasted space, maybe a little bit in between here. But for the most part, that looks pretty dang good, I think. Now I don't really know how to do this yet, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to figure it out, and then I'll tell you how to do it. But see these screw holes? I think I have to pull it out about to the end, kind of like this on both sides, and then screw it in. Alright, so I was right. When you do this, you're going to line up this. Let me explain this better. So right now I have this lined up with where this sits when it's pushed back. I'll show you. So I'll push this back, and then I'll push this back. And if you can see right there, let's see here, right about there, that black mark lines up with this. So when I pull the drawer back out, I'll grab this and pull it out. I'll line it up, and that's at the same spot. So now I can screw into these, and I'll do that with both sides. If you're looking to figure out how to do that, there you go. And then once I screw that in, that should be the final step until I come back and lacquer this all up. But I think I'll be doing that all in one big session. Oh yeah. Well guys, here you have it. A finished drawer, and it works perfect. Honestly, I was a little afraid starting this because I haven't done a drawer slide this big before, so it's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this right, but I actually did this probably better than most of the things I do. So if you do it the way I did it, it's good. I promise. It worked out like freaking perfect. I'm pretty proud of myself. So, yeah, look at that. Not bad. Anyways, I will go through a little bit more of a list with you. That way you can be certain on what you're doing when you do this. And because I know I have a hard time filming because I like to flip flop, and I have to think myself. So it takes me a little bit of time to figure stuff out and I get lost. So I'm going to go through a list and kind of show you what you need to do again. And that'll probably wrap up the video. All right. So we're going to go through kind of the process you need to do. And I'm going to write it down. Take a screenshot of this when I'm all done. That way you can transfer this to your own project. So number one, you're going to want to get the drawer slides. Well, first of all, number one, you're going to want to frame it all. But for the drawer portion, we're going to focus on that. So first step, you're going to want to get drawer slides. You're going to want to get those installed. Second step, you're going to want to figure out how you're going to frame the storage. So frame storage plan. That way you kind of know what you're going to do before you start measuring and rushing into stuff. Once you figure out your frame storage plan and you've got your drawer slides installed, you're going to go back and you're going to start measuring. Oops. Measure length and width. That way you know how wide it is and how long you need to make it. And for me, like you saw in my video, I built that bottom piece first. This piece. This was the bottom. Right? So you want to know the width, the width for these pieces, and then the length for these pieces. And that will sit on the ground. So once you get that, you're going to want to build, we'll say bottom frame. Okay? Once you've built the bottom frame and you've done all this other stuff on the list, you want to go back and test fit. Make sure that sucker fits in there how you want it, between those drawer slides. But make sure to plan, well, we'll do test fit slash plan for plywood sides. Remember, you want your frame, if you're using the same 1/2 inch plywood that I used, you're going to want your frame to be an inch smaller than what it actually needs to be, because your plywood is going to take up that extra inch and fill it perfectly. So make sure you plan for the plywood. I guess I should have put this up further, but yeah. Make sure it works. And then when you test fit it, make sure you have an extra inch or whatever, your side material is going to be. So once you got that test fit, once you know it's going to work, maybe you have to go back and adjust some stuff. Make sure it's going to work before you rush into the next step. Okay, you got this ready? Number 6, measure. We'll just do measure and cut for height. What the heck? Height. Remember, make sure you measure for that bottom piece. Mine was only 1/8 of an inch thick, so make sure you measure, let's say you're doing the same material as me, 1/8 of an inch thick. You're going to subtract that from your total, your frame piece is going up. And 7, of course, build top frame members. And remember, they'll just basically this piece, just going up. That'll be, if you're looking at it from the front view, it's going to be those pieces. Okay? Once you get those installed, again, number 8, test fit. Make sure you go back and freaking make sure it fits, okay? Once you know it fits, it's going to work. Number 9, go ahead and cut the plywood. Cut and begin install plywood. There you go. Now you can start doing the plywood. And then again, like always, once you're done, test fit. Always test fit. You want to make sure that sucker works right. Okay? Let's say you got your side plywood on, you got your front plywood on, and now you got your bottom plywood on. After you get all this step done, if you go back in the video and you can see how I did it. Number 10, once you got all that done, sand it. Don't be a freaking booger. Just sand it. It's going to help you so much. You're not going to get splinters. It's going to feel good when you touch it. which sounds weird, but it's true. And just sand it, man. Just sand it. And then number 11, remember how I went back through there and I pushed the drawer all the way to the back. So once I got it all built, the storage, I pushed it all the way back into the actual van. I marked on the side where the drawer slides come up. So I'll draw it out here. Let's say this is the side. Your drawer slides come up. Let's say they come to there. Oops. Let's say it comes to there. Put a mark, and then you're going to slide it out. So once you have it slid out, you can slide the drawer up to that spot. Okay? And then you can put your screws in. So number 11, we're going to want to mark for slides. Easy peasy. Not as hard as I make it sound. I make it sound too hard. But that's just me. Number 12, once you got it marked, once you got that done, I mean, frick, make sure it slides in and out. If you have to sand a little bit more here and there, go ahead and do it. But, 13, and joy. Boom, there you go. That's it. Follow that. Well, probably doesn't make sense by looking at it, but look at this, go back to my video, see what you need. You'll figure it out, man. It's not that hard. I was a little worried about it, and I did it just fine. So, yeah, you'll get it. Well, guys, that probably wraps up this video. I hope you learned something and are able to freaking build a drawer now because, well, I tried. Maybe I'm not the best instruction giver, but hopefully this helps you build your own drawer. Hopefully it can help you do something at least. If nothing else, just measure twice, square it, make sure it's all good. And you got a link to drawer slides too. They work good. Certified. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay around and subscribe for more content. Next, I think I'm probably going to build a swivel seat or keep going on this van build, the furniture in here. Kind of doing it all at once, this and that, and it's kind of a mess for me, but you guys will just see the videos. So make sure, like, subscribe, stay tuned, and we can get this thing freaking built, and it's going to be awesome. Stay tuned.